Going live. Welcome, everyone.
Yay! Welcome to the launch of the book Broken to Brilliant: Breaking Free to Be You After Domestic Violence: 11 Stories of Strength and Success. So I'm here in California with the beautiful Jessie Torres.
Traveled a long distance to be here on the wrong side of the street.
So I'm Kate Crowley-Smith. I'm from Australia, and I'm the compiling editor of Broken to Brilliant, and we're making this happen. So, and Jessie, thank you very much for having me here in California.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so excited and so thrilled to be here. Before we get started, let's just give them a little bit of background as to how we met.
Yeah, thank you. So Jessie and I met in 2013. I was doing some coaching with Anthony Robbins on some of his online programs, and I did a free coaching session, and at that point the coaching people lined me up with Jessie because of my background in domestic violence, and I enrolled in a 6-month program with Jessie, so we partnered with her.
Yes, and I was so thrilled. Part of being a Tony Robbins coach, we get the privilege to work with people from all over the world, and it's thrilling to have connection with so many people from different cultures and backgrounds. And in the process of selecting a coach, our director goes through a lot of different guidelines, but one of them being, similar backgrounds. And my background in domestic violence was able to team us together. And so we were able to partner for the 6 months, and since then we've been together on this mission.
We certainly have, and it's been great because coming from a background of domestic violence, what was important for me and why I undertook the coaching was personal development, self-development, and education. So, and at the same time, I was building my confidence, and I had applied to do a chapter in a book with Brian Tracy. Now, Brian Tracy was doing a book about how to have business against the grain, so against hard times. And so when I submitted, so I had to apply, I had to write an abstract and put that in. And then one of Brian Tracy's panel called me and did a 30-minute interview, and also looked at my chapter as well. And I was accepted into doing that. So it was quite a scary thing because I'd always wanted to write, and I didn't know if I could do it. So with Jessie's coaching, she helped me go through writing my first chapter. And when my chapter was accepted, I was over the moon. I couldn't believe it. And that helped me to have a lot of confidence. Now, my story was how to grow business kids against the grain. And the story is around coming from a background of compulsive gambling, so having all the money issues in the household, and how you raise 2 beautiful children to be sensible with their money, regardless of what sort of environment they had in the background. And so when that book was actually launched, it was launched in Hollywood. So I was over here in 2013 in September for the fantastic red carpet launch. It was so exciting, and the book got a best-selling award. So all the authors in that book, we won a best-selling Quilly Award. It's this beautiful big gold award, and my chapter got an Editor's Choice Award, and that was just so amazing, and it also increased my confidence as well. And Jessie came to Hollywood to help us celebrate.
Yes, it was so thrilling to finally be able to meet Kate in person and to just honor her for her achievement and accomplishment in that book.
And when we were there in Hollywood celebrating away, I declared, I'm going to make this happen. I've been thinking about writing a book for 15 years. I said, that's it. Let's do this. Let's write a book on how women have rebuilt their lives in domestic violence. And each chapter was to talk about their stories, their heartfelt stories, but also talk about the way they rebuilt their life. And Jessie decided to be the first one in the book, first co-author.
Well, honestly, I was honored to even be asked to participate in such an amazing project. As Kate was saying, this book is unique in that it's not just our stories, but it's also, what steps would we recommend? What would we say to somebody in a similar circumstance to help them, really understand that there is a way out and that they don't have to live the life that they're living. And for me, that was like an incredible purpose, to give my experiences and what I'd been through an opportunity to help and serve others. So I couldn't be more excited to be a part of this, because if there's something in our stories, it's something in the steps that we offer that can help, awaken that light, just open that light up in someone who's in a similar situation, and let them know that, they matter, and that they can, they're worth it, and that they can live a life that isn't, so much pain. When you're in it, you don't really realize that there are choices. You feel so consumed by it, and you feel like that's the only thing you're meant to live. So if 11 stories of women that have been through something like that can connect with somebody in that situation to help them know that, hey, we've been able to come out of that, and here's what we did, and that's something in that will help them open, then I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to offer that.
And thank you for being the first co-author. And I haven't advertised for any women to be in the book, and for some reason people just sat beside me at breakfasts or at lunches, or other women referred them to me about being in the book. And that's how I have 11 authors. And as people would tell me their story and about what they had been through, I'd say, would you like to share that? Would you like to share what you've been through and how you've rebuilt your life with all these other women? And they would say yes.
And now you have others waiting in line for the next one, right?
I do. There's about another 6 ladies who are also waiting to be in the next, because this is the first book in the series, and so we're going to write about 5. I've got 5 in my head that I wanted to bring out. And when we're talking about domestic violence, we're not just talking about physical abuse. There's many different forms of domestic violence, and we're talking about psychological abuse. I spoke previously about gambling. That's a type of abuse. There's other types, isn't there, Jessie?
Yes. So as I came out of this process, I didn't even know. I didn't have a title for what I'd been through. I just wanted to volunteer, and I sought out domestic violence centers as where I wanted to go contribute. And in that, I was not able to contribute until I went through their domestic violence counseling training, so that I can learn how to help others. So in order to become a trainer, you go through this course, and in that I discovered how many layers of domestic violence there are. It's a misconception to believe that it is only physical, it's only man on woman. I mean, there's so many different layers. There's financial, there's verbal, emotional, there's also elderly, there's also animal. I mean, domestic violence has a broad spectrum, much more than anybody ever imagined. I went through that course not even having a label for what I went through. And when I sat there, and one of the ladies who was a social worker was telling the story of a lady she partnered with in court, I just started crying, because I couldn't believe the similarities in my life. And I just stood up and hugged her, and I said, you just told my entire life story. And I had no idea. And once I realized that, I was like, wow, this is so broad, and so many people are suffering from this. And I was honored to be able to volunteer, and in that learned so much. And now I'm in this opportunity Kate has offered me to be able to share that story to help other women. So I couldn't be more excited.
And you're right, there are so many people, and I just know some statistics in Queensland. 175 women a day report domestic violence cases. A day. And that was just for Queensland.
Wow.
So, and the other key thing you brought up is that you related to that story of the woman in the court, and that's exactly what we're trying to do with the book. The beginning of each of the chapters talks about what each woman went through, and it's not, we tell some of the horrific things, but that's not so that we want you to feel sorry for us. It's so that the women who are living in domestic violence situations, or who have lived in domestic violence and who haven't actually thought about it or dealt with it, can relate to our stories. They can identify with us, and then that, like you experienced, they can open up and start to heal and rebuild their lives, because there's a lot of things you've got to go through to rebuild your life. Mm-hmm. And then the second half of the chapter explains how each of the women have rebuilt their lives. Now, every woman does that differently. So some women talk about how they've done it financially. Some women in the book share about how they've gone through self-development, education, coaching, Others talk about meditation, and people turn to faith.
Right.
So there's many different ways that people can rebuild their lives, and that's what we want to collect. The book and the series of books is about collecting women's stories about how they rebuild their lives.
So it's not about coming from a victim perspective, more so from thriving, coming from that situation to thriving.
That's right. And the collection of all of this information, when we do the 5 series of the books, will be to develop a success centre. So the success centre, that's hard to say. I might need to change the name. That centre is to help women rebuild their lives, and all the information gathered from the books is the evidence, because I'm also tailoring this with my PhD and qualitative research, so that it will be an evidence-based approach to help women rebuild their lives in the quickest and shortest way. This is 10 years of changing myself, personal development, and I'll tell you, it's not easy. It's not easy to do this, and it would be so good if we could help, having lived it, been through it, we can help other women get through this a lot quicker and a lot easier.
Yes, absolutely. And that's definitely the goal here, is to just help build those stepping stones to help women come out of this in the best way possible. And if we can offer that information, and what's beautiful is that, every woman's going to do it differently. And so the fact that we have 11 different stories will help. Each story will connect with a different person in a different way. And if they can pull little pieces from each one that will help them create their road to thriving, then that's the goal.
And it's really good, because like your story is on how human kindness changed your life,
mm-hmm.
and your whole mission. Tell them about your own business, what you do.
Well, I have a coaching practice. It's more of workshops, and through Fierce Grace, being able to, again, give those stepping stones, allow women to peel the layers, because when you go through something like, traumatic as that, domestic violence, you tend to put a lot of layers on, your brilliance, your radiance, who you are inside, because you're protecting now. You've been hurt. You've been under so much pain that you've built now these walls where you're afraid to ever let anybody in again, because it's scary to be in that vulnerability. But oftentimes we lose our sense of femininity and who we are as women, because we have to get hardened in order to thrive. And so Fierce Grace is just a fluidity, coming back to who we are as radiant women, and also men. There's a lot of men that suffer from this as well, and really finding our brilliance, our light, who we are underneath all the layers, and understand that we can take care of ourselves, and that we are worth it, and we do matter, and that and that we're beautifully strong, and that we don't have to be so closed in order to protect. That we can now make decisions that set boundaries, so that we don't put ourselves in a vulnerable space again where we will be hurt. And that doesn't mean disconnecting from who you are. Mm-hmm. So that's the goal in these workshops. We just kind of identify what the roadblocks are. What is it? What kind of life would you want? You can dream big. When you're in that circumstance, you don't think that there's a bright light. You can't even look 5 years ahead or a year ahead, because you're so caught up in the minutia of what you're in. And so we just open that gateway. What does life look like for you if you could be a kid in a candy store and you could just choose and not have any boundaries? And when people are being offered that opportunity, all of a sudden it's like, well, is that possible? And it's like, oh my God, yes, it is. So Kate mentioned human kindness. That was what created my desire to want to live, because in my situation, I had gotten to a point where I just didn't want my life anymore, and I didn't know or understand a way out. And the only way I thought was leaving this earth. Like, I just wanted the pain to stop. And it wasn't until I had some connection, and you'll see in the book, with people that were kind to me, which I had just not experienced, because I was so kept under, these 4 walls, that when I experienced that kindness, so just it woke something up in me that made me want more. I'm like, I want to feel this. I want to feel this connection. I want to see that people are genuine and kind, and that I don't always have to be on guard or protect. And it just woke something up in me, and I knew then that I needed to, in order to have that kind of joy, I needed to be out of my situation. So never underestimate what one small act of human kindness can do for someone, what one small word, something that you can offer, something that you can say, uplift someone. Society has gotten so dark, but I believe that the pendulum is shifting, and we're ready now. We're ready to hear, what we're capable of, and that we do matter, and that we're beautiful right now in this moment, just the way we are. And you see more videos, more YouTube videos, more things where we're watching, and we can't take our eyes off of it, because these two 20-year-olds decided to get a video camera and go on the streets of New York and hug people. And we watch with tears in our eyes as people are surprised and they don't know how to handle it, and then they hug, and some don't. And and we love that, and I think that we're wanting that. So it's time to bring the goddess energy, love back into this, allow men to be men, beautiful, men, and allow women to really be in that space of honoring who they are as women. So I'm very, very proud of being able to offer this through Fierce Grace.
And that's the purpose of each chapter as well, because every woman has something different to offer and how to help other people.
Mm-hmm.
And Jessie's is her business, Fierce Grace, and there's other women have different businesses as well. And when we get the Success Centre going, it will be promoting how far everybody's come. That's what success is. Success is different for everybody. And it's, you could just get out of bed each day, get the kids to school. That's a successful day. And then each day you build on that. And that's what we're talking about. The distance that you have traveled is your success. And we're trying to share everyone's success and then pay it forward. So all the women who will be involved in the book, all the women who will be in the centre, will be helping other women. And different women will relate to the different ladies in the book. That's why we need so many ladies to share their stories. And that's why we have 11, because people will relate to different people in the book. And we were meant to launch this book. Where is it? Here it is.
It's ready to go.
We were meant to launch this book yesterday on International Women's Day. And the reason I wanted to do that is because International Women's Day celebrates courage of women, ordinary women just like us. And it also celebrates women as change agents and agents of development. And I wasn't able to officially launch a printed book, but we did have a very, very successful launch in Dallas yesterday, which was fantastic. And thank you to New Serity International and all the women there who supported the launch. We did a pre-launch and we raised $450 towards the book. Yes, that was great. And the reason why we're asking for that is because when I got to the print stage, I started to ask the question about some legal issues, and I started to ask some lawyers about, is there anything I need to consider around legal issues before this is published? Well, that opened up a can of worms, didn't it? And so there are a number of things we've got to consider around defamation and criminal law in Australia. And I can't actually go to print because if I was, it could hurt, some people. It could defame people, and we don't want that. It's not about doing harm. It's not about us being sued. It's not about defaming any of the perpetrators at all. We just want to tell our story honestly, and we want to help. The outcome is to help people. So
this kind of book, writing a book of this caliber, requires a lot of guidelines because we're saying a lot of things that people may take a specific way.
Yeah, and it's not about harm. It's about helping. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get a legal review. I've had quotes from $2,000 per chapter up to $32,000 for the whole book. Mm. I've talked to many, many different lawyers, and I've managed to negotiate $15,000 for the whole book to be reviewed. So that's where we're needing help. We're needing help to raise awareness of the Broken to Brilliant book and to get the story out to as many women as possible and who may need it. And we need your help to help us find 1,000 people who have the capacity to donate $15.
Yes. So that's where you come in, and we're asking for your help to share, that the book is coming out, the purpose of the book, and remember that all proceeds of the sale of this book go back to domestic violence centers to help, again, bring the awareness and to help provide a safe haven for women to go to when they do make the decision to get out of their situations, and they're able to go somewhere where they will be supported. So we need you to share about the book, and we ask, if you can donate, the more you share it, obviously, the more people will be able to see. And if we get 1,000 people, to donate $15, then we've met our goal, and we can get this book out to the masses.
Yeah. And there's 2 ways people can donate. There's the GoFundMe page.
Yes, so I'm going to attempt to share my screen, so bear with me. Okay. And you can also find this on Facebook.
So we've got the Broken to Brilliant Facebook page, and we have set up a GoFundMe campaign as well. And we've also got the brokentobrilliant.com page as well. Here we are. That's the GoFundMe.
This is the GoFundMe page, and again, this is on. I will repost this on Facebook and also on brokentobrilliant.com, and that's www.broken2brilliant.com.
Can you share that?
Yeah, I sure can.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. There's the page. Okay.
Very clever.
Thank you guys for bearing with us. And we're going to share that one. Where's my mouse?
We're just sharing the Broken to Brilliant website. And I'd just like to thank my website developer for the excellent work that she's done in building this website. It's truly amazing. I have no idea how to do it. I just provide all this information and woohoo, here it comes. And look at that.
Here is the Broken to Brilliant page, and we just clicked on the donate button and it brought us to this page, and there you see the buttons to donate.
And that's donating via PayPal. So you've got the choice. You can donate via GoFundMe or you can donate via PayPal.
Through the Broken to Brilliant website. If possible, that would be the best way, is through the Broken to Brilliant website. But either way, we appreciate anything that you can offer.
So thank you for joining us.
And us back.
There
we are! Yay! Didn't want to leave without saying goodbye.
Thank you.
Here's the book, and it's really real. It's all ready to go. We just need your help to get it off the ground. So thank you so much for tuning in with us. Back here, just very excited to share this with the world, and also to continue after this is launched to do little books that you have in the works. And like she said earlier, we have women that are already lining up to share their stories and jump on board to this project in order to help more women. So thank you, mwah. Any questions, just let us know. Leave your comments on the Facebook or the website, and we'll get back to you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.